Welcome to Brier's Music Showcase. I'm Bryer and welcome back to another video. I know by the time this video comes out, Christmas has already passed, but I felt like I didn't get to wear Santa Paws that often this year, so I want to keep them on for one more day, and it seems kind of fitting because today is my December CD haul. As you know, this is the time where I go through all the CDs I acquired throughout the month and give my brief thoughts on them. However, I'm going to be frank, there's definitely quite a few that I didn't get a chance to listen to. Normally, I record these a little bit later in the month, but I gave myself a deadline, so I didn't have that much time. But I did listen to a good majority of them, and I'll let you know what I did and didn't listen because I want to be honest here. So, quite a bit. I already forgot how many I acquired. Somewhere in 28, I think. That's how much we have here. So pretty nice way to end off this year, I think. So of course, usually people enjoy these types of videos, but if you're new, please give this video a like, subscribe if you are new. And without further ado, let's begin. First off, I want to start with CDs that were given to me. I did not buy these. Someone actually went and packaged them and sent them to me. So these are basically the stuff I got from viewer mail, basically. So the first one I'm going to show was sent by someone named Paul, who's one of my viewers. So again, Paul, thank you for sending me these. I'm just going to quickly go through them. So these ones I didn't get a chance to listen to. So these are like a little collection called Knuckles Tracks. These are kind of like from, if I remember, I know Paul told me these, but these were kind of like sampler CDs from like a magazine, I'm assuming. And usually these are just a compilation of many different types of songs from different metal bands, and they're kind of meant to be like a sample type of thing where you listen to these, they'll play different songs and supposed to get you interested, like, okay, I like that track, I'll keep that band on noted or something like that. And basically that's pretty much it. I have 3 of them, so it's kind of interesting. Their artwork is quite fascinating, I must say, very unique. So I might give these a listen, but as of right now, I kind of like these more as like more. Oh, I dropped one. Oh no, it's fine. Anyhow, so I kind of like these, have these more as like more display stuff. Like, you know, these are kind of their own relics in a sense. So yeah, that's what we got there. Okay, he also sent this Paul McCartney live album, Good Evening New York City. Again, sadly, I didn't get a chance to listen to it. I did sample a little bit. It sounds pretty good. I only sampled like a couple tracks. I didn't hear the whole song, but I just wanted to hear how Paul sounded, and he sounded pretty good from what I heard. Okay, and then we have, this is a pretty interesting one. We have Bachman Cummings. Of course, this is Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings, who were, of course, originally from Guess Who. So this is basically just a covers album of, you know, Burton and Randy just covering a bunch of songs they liked. I didn't get a chance to listen to the whole thing. I only heard like maybe a third of it, and it sounds alright. I did quite like it. Of course, Burton Cummings still sounds pretty good, I think, on this album, and of course Randy Bachman, pretty good guitar player. Not much to say about it, but you know, it's pretty good for what it is. So maybe check it out if you haven't heard it. All right, Metallica, we have Load. I don't have Reload yet. I might hopefully fix that at some point. But of course, this was another one of their 90s albums. I heard some people don't like it. Some people do. It's kind of like a weird, which side do you want type of thing. I'm kind of in the middle. I do like it. There's some decent songs. Ain't My Bitch. Not Until It Sleeps. You know, it's all right. Cure. Yeah, it's pretty much the songs that kind of stick. The problem with this album is that a lot of the songs don't really hit for me. They sound fine, but they don't really, you know, stick. You know, I don't find them that memorable. I'm sure if I listen to it again, maybe I'll have a different opinion, but as of right now, it's okay. I don't mind having it, of course. I mean, it's good to have a little bit more Metallica. And again, I might get Reload just so I can get its other half. So that's all I have to say there. And then he also sent me this Neil Young Greatest Hits, which is very nice. It's kind of cool because now I have Ohio on a CD. I don't have to go on YouTube or stuff like that. So it's kind of nice to have it in the collection. But you have a good mixture of his solo stuff, also his time in CSNY, and you even have the stuff he did with Crazy Horse. So very nice compilation. And I know Paul sent me more stuff, but they were DVDs mainly. And I know he sent me a Kiss related thing, but it's kind of more like a tribute type of CD. Somewhere over there, I forgot to get it, but I got that too. But overall, thank you, Paul, for sending me those. Now let's move on to what Mickey sends. Of course, Mickey has sent me a ton of stuff already, but this is his recent thing he sent me earlier, about a week ago now. So here we go. So first up, we have The Who, The Kids Are Alright. Of course, the soundtrack film to the movie itself. Very cool. Not much to say about it, but it's just a bunch of different live renditions of each song. Of course, these are the same stuff they used for the film. So pretty interesting. Again, nice to have this in the Who collection. Now, I didn't get a chance to listen to these two yet because, yeah, they were very recent, but we have Keys to Ascension. This is Key to Ascension 1. I know there's a Key of Ascension 2, which maybe we'll get at some point, but kind of nice to have more Yes, as well as this one. Again, didn't get a chance to hear it, but we have Yes songs. This came out in 1980. I guess it was during the Tormato tour or something like that. And then another one I didn't get a chance to listen to, but we have Then and Now by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Of course, has two live concerts here. You have the time they played the California Jam in '74, and then you have a more recent concert in '97 to '98. So there you have it. Now this one I did get a chance to hear. We have Rush, Exit Stage Left. Of course, this is one of Rush's most well-known live albums, and I can see why. Definitely sounds really good. The playing is very well done. I mean, Rush, I've seen many live footage of Rush, and they always seem to put on a good show. So yeah, very good. Yeah, and the recording is really good too. They really touched it up. I don't know how much they touched up in the studio, but it sounds phenomenal. But yeah, there you go. And then there's one more thing Mickey sent. I know he sent me a Who live DVD, but we're not including DVDs now, are we? It says CD haul, not DVD haul. But anyhow, next up we have, well, I'll make this brief because I know the CD is missing, but he also did send me this Blue Oyster Cult live album, but again, the CD is not there. So Mickey has said he'll send me the disc probably sometime next year, sometime in January maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, we'll see what I think when I get the disc. But hopefully I got all the stuff that Mickey sent, or at least I showed them. I know he also sent me this Jimi Hendrix box set, which we have to the side here, and there was that white book as well that's up there. If I remember, I'll play a clip of me holding the book just so you can see. But other than that, yeah, very good stuff. Thank you very much, Mickey. And the last person to send me something this month is, of course, Scott from SoundLab Studios. So not only did he send me that Bing Crosby Christmas album that you can kind of see behind me, he also sent me a CD. And that is Alan Parsons Project, Tales of Mystery and Imagination, Edgar Allan Poe. Of course, a deluxe edition. I already talked about this in the video itself, but you have two mixes of this album. You have the 76 mix, which was the original, and then you have the 87 mix. So both very good. I really enjoyed both of them. They're kind of different. Obviously the 87 one has a bit more, have a polished feel to it, and the drums sound a little bit different. And the 87 also includes occasional narration from Orson Welles, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, I don't know which one I prefer more, but I think they're both good in their own right. But yeah, some very good playing on here. The fact that this was their debut, pretty impressive stuff. I mean, some good melodies, good songwriting, and there's a lot. Of course, Alan Parsons Project has a lot of singers. They, it's kind of like a revolving door of singers. But the one that that was kind of a welcome surprise was Arthur Brown, who sung, I believe, "The Telltale Heart." And I think I really enjoyed his vocals on that track. Definitely kind of fits the theme, I think. But yeah, very cool. Very happy to have this in the collection. So thank you very much, Scott. And now we move on to the CDs I did buy with my own money. So quite a bit. So I'll try to get through this pretty quickly. So again, some of these I didn't get a chance to listen to because I got them pretty recently. Some of these I got like a couple days ago because I went to the record store then. So yeah, so some of these are very new, so bear with me. So this first one, this is kind of a 2-in-1 pack here. So it's 2 albums on 1 disc. And we have the Honeycombs. Kind of a more obscure band. I'm not sure how many people know them, but they were from the 1960s. And they had a couple hits, but they were kind of they only had maybe a couple, but then after that they didn't really have basically they're not like one of the big names when it comes to 60s rock or pop or whatever. But yeah, I kind of liked this. Kind of liked it. I know Nick from Townsend 909. I know what he wanted me and Jason to do a whole video about a lot of the debuts of British bands of the 1960s, and the Honeycombs was one of them. And I was I don't know how Jason or Nick feels about this band, but I kind of liked it. I kind of liked this group. I really enjoyed the lead singer, who has a pretty high register, and really like the drumming. Of course, I forgot the name of the drummer because I know the drummer's female, and I think it's pretty cool drumming from her. Hopefully I can find the names here. Okay, so it's Anne or Honey Latree. Hopefully I said that right, but yeah, I kind of like the drumming on this album. And again, it's nothing too crazy or anything, but some good beats, some good rhythms on this, on both of them, because again, it's 2 albums. So you have their debut, and then you have All Systems Go. But yeah, quite enjoyable stuff. Okay, now here's one I didn't get a chance to listen to, but we have Dream Theater, A Change of Seasons. Now this was originally an EP, basically. Actually, it is an EP. So it's basically known for having the one epic song, and that is A Change of Season, which, I didn't get a chance to listen to it yet, but I heard great things about it. But of course, what's kind of also notable is that there's actually a few covers on here that kind of caught my interest. You have Funeral for a Friend / Love Lies Bleeding by Elton John. You have Perfect Strangers by Deep Purple. Then you have a little medley piece. Actually, no, they're not medleys. Okay, there is a medley, but actually, yeah, there's a couple medleys. I'm a little all over the place. I apologize. But in one medley, you have a couple Led Zeppelin tracks. You have The Rover and Achilles' Last Stand, and The Song Remains the Same. And then you have track 5, which is the medley. You have In the Flesh from Pink Floyd, Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Then you have probably the most weirdest inclusion. I never thought Dream Theater would cover this song, but you have Love, Touching and Squeezing from Journey. Then you have Cruise Control, which I actually don't know who that's by. Then you have Turn On Again from Genesis. So, kind of interested. Hopefully at some point I'll let you know what I think of this. Alright, so this next one's probably going to confuse a couple people. So of course this is from Iron Maiden, and I ended up finding their debut. Now, the thing is, I already own the debut. So why did I get this version? Well, there was one thing that kind of bothered me about this particular version. So it's in a digipack, the thing that bugged me is that because there's one track on here that was only on, I believe was only on the North American release, and this particular copy doesn't have that track. It just kind of plays it like it is the UK version. But there was one song in here that I kind of wished it was on, and luckily it's on this disc, and that is Sanctuary. I kind of prefer where there's more songs. So there you go. So I ended up getting it. So because why not? So it's the debut. You have Paul Di'Anno on lead vocals. Pretty good, very solid debut, I must say. Obviously, if you're a Paul Di'Anno fan, I know you're gonna love it. I like it too, but of course I'm a Bruce guy, so there you go. All right, this one, we have another Marillion album. Yes, I actually did get another Marillion album, and that is Brave. Now this is the first album I have from the Steve Hogarth era, and very interesting. This one's definitely a lot more moody, a lot more atmospheric, I'd say. There's definitely more of a different vibe. And Steve Hogarth, definitely a very different singer to Fish. Definitely has a more higher register. Very unique though. I might have to listen to this a bit more, but based on the first listen, I'm definitely intrigued. So I'll come back to you on that one. So give me one sec, okay? Let's talk about this next. So we have another Smashing Pumpkins CD I got, and here we have their debut album, which I believe is pronounced Gish. So I have a couple Smashing Pumpkins CDs already. I have Siamese Dream and Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, which is their second and third respectively. So it's kind of nice to have the first three albums now. And yeah, I dig this. I definitely dig it. I definitely prefer Siamese Dreams and Melancholy over this. But you know, I think the band pretty much comes in pretty fully formed. I think you have those guitar riffs, but you also have some nice, more slower melodies too. And you know, Billy Corgan's vocals are pretty much what you expect to hear. So yeah, solid debut. All right, we have System of a Down with Toxicity, whatever. I'm not good at pronouncing stuff. But yeah, this is definitely one I've wanted for quite some time. Of course, I knew a couple tracks. Of course, I knew Chop Suey, and I knew Aerials, and I heard the Prison song I forgot where I heard it first, but I knew I heard the Prison song at some point. So yeah, I enjoy this one. Again, good, very heavy. You know, it's a bit of alternative metal, some new metal, but I enjoy it. I think a lot of the songs here are pretty memorable. Needles was pretty good. See the title. You have the title track. Then you have Bounce. Then you have Jet Pilot, Psycho. Yeah, pretty good. Glad I got this. So maybe we'll get more System of a Down at some point. All right, next up, let's see. Where do I want to go next? Let's see. I'll save this one for last. All right, so let's talk about these next two. So these two are by the same artist, so it's a solo artist. And that artist in question is Lana Del Rey. So I hear a lot of good things about Lana Del Rey. Definitely, again, much newer artist. And so again, I'm kind of at that point where I kind of want to start exploring a lot of newer music. Because you know, I want to kind of give the more modern stuff a chance. So I'll definitely want to do that more next year. But yeah, so I want to check out some Lana Del Rey because again, I hear a lot of good things. So I got these two. So this is kind of her most well-known and most celebrated album. And I got this one, which was her most recent album that released earlier this year. So let me talk about this one first. So I listened to this one first because I was because why not? And I heard it and I was like, it's not quite clicking. Like her voice sound was fine, but the music was kind of, I don't know, I was expecting more. So yeah, so now I was kind of like nervous, like, oh my god, am I not gonna be a Lana Del Rey fan? And so this album came, which again is, like I said, is her most acclaimed, and I listened to it, and okay, some good stuff. I actually quite like this. This was what I was talking about. Okay, so you have, again, this is kind of a more indie pop sort of thing. You have the title track, which very nice. Off to the Races has a little bit of a hip hop influence, but it's not like a full blown hip hop track. It's kind of more just the rhythm to it. Video Games, kind of a nice slower ballad type. Then you have a song called Diet Mountain Dew, which is kind of interesting. Then you have the song Radio, which is track 8. That's a real. I actually really enjoy that song. That's probably my favorite. It's probably my favorite song on this album. But yeah, I played this part. That's the song I've played the most. But yeah, I think that's a really good song. Carmen's nice. Summertime Sadness. Yeah, I dig this. So if there's any Lana Del Rey fans out there, please let me know what album I should check out next. Because again, I was kind of unsure when I heard this one, but this album kind of saved the day. So I'm now intrigued to check out more from her. Please excuse the noise. I think we have some company right now, so hopefully no one interrupts me. But anyhow, moving on. Okay, let's talk about this next. Let's go back to some more heavy metal. So let's go with Danzig. I got this at a record store, so very good find, I must say. I definitely wanted to check out this album because I knew Danzig, and I heard some good things about, especially this album. And yeah, very enjoyable. Twist of Cain, Soul on Fire, I Am Demon, Mother, End of Time. Really good guitar work for the most part. Some nice riffs, and Glenn Danzig has a pretty unique voice. I quite dig it. So yeah, very nice to have this. And then we have Megadeth, and I have Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. So this is their debut album. So pretty good to find it. And this was actually one of the more expensive CDs I got at the record store, because normally the CDs are like about $5, maybe $7, but this one's like $20 because apparently this is like a very rare edition of the CD. I don't know if that's true, but hopefully they're correct. But yeah, so yeah, very nice to have it. I did listen to this. Pretty good, pretty decent. Definitely you can hear the anger, and there's that thirst that Dave Mustaine wanted. You know, of course he wanted to outdo Metallica, and you can definitely hear that drive. Like he definitely wants to showcase what he's capable of, and I think he showcased himself pretty well here. Of course, he'll do even better moving forward. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good debut. Next up, now this one I didn't get a chance to listen to. We have my first Talking Heads album. We have More Songs About Buildings and Food. Quite a title there. So yeah, again, I didn't get a chance to listen to it yet, but I looked it up and it got good reviews, so I'm kind of interested to see what will happen. I know a couple songs from Talking Heads, but I don't know that much. So hopefully that'll be a good entry point. Okay, I think, yeah, the rest of these I have heard. I did listen to. Okay, next up, let's talk about some Thin Lizzy. We got Thunder and Lightning. So this was their final studio album in 1983. And you have John Sykes on guitar, which is pretty cool. Of course, John Sykes would later join Whitesnake for the 1987 album. And yeah, this is a good album. this was a pretty good album to go out on, honestly. Again, it's probably a lot heavier than their previous albums that I've heard. Again, great riffs, and Phil Lynott sounds really good on here. The title track, the Holy War, Cold Sweat, Baby Please Don't Go, Bad Habits, Heart Attack. Yeah, just killer stuff. Really no bad song on that. Okay, let's talk about some more progressive rock. And we have some Caravan. And this one is called If I Could Do It All Over Again, I'd Do It All Over You. That's a mouthful of a title, but I do like the cover though. I like the green. Kind of peaceful looking. So Caravan, another kind of more, well, they're kind of known, but they're kind of more obscure. You gotta be in the know to know, you know. But yeah, they're a part of the Canterbury scene. Some really good musicianship. I really enjoy this album. The title track's fine. And I Wish I Were Stoned. It's a pretty interesting track. As I Feel I Die. Hello Hello. Limits, kind of a shorter track, but kind of closes out with a nice way. But yeah, I do have two other Caravan CDs. I have Lana Del Rey Pink and For Girls Who Go Plump in the Night, and I enjoyed both of them, so it's nice to have another one. Next up, we have Rage Against the Machines with their debut album. Of course, kind of funk metal, new metal, rap metal, however you want to call them. Again, they were kind of known for being very political. Luckily, it doesn't really bother me, but you can kind of tell by the album cover that, yeah, this is definitely has a lot of political stuff about it. Luckily, I didn't really pay attention to the stuff, so it didn't really bother me. I don't even know what they were talking about most of the time. But musically, I think it's pretty nice. Again, I was kind of surprised I liked it as much as I did. Because again, there was some great guitar work by Tom Morello. The vocalist definitely has a very unique style. Some good bass playing too. Like the bass, I was surprised. There was a lot more bass than I expected. But yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, nice to have that. And we have 3 more to go. We have, this was definitely an interesting find. We have David Bowie, Space Oddity. So I have his second album. Here it is. Now the cover looks kind of different. I'll show you what the UK cover looked like so you can see it there. But in the US and I believe this North America, we got this cover. And I know there was actually another alternate cover, and that was this. So kind of interesting. I have one with this look, but it's still the same album, and there's a couple bonus tracks too. So like I mentioned, it's his second album. Definitely a lot better than his debut, I'll say that. Definitely a step in the right direction. Of course, this has the famous song Space Oddity, which was his first big hit, and yeah, that's a terrific song. I think there's a lot of other good stuff on here. Unwashed and somewhat slightly dazed, pretty good. Letters to Hermione, Janine, An Occasional Dream. But yeah, solid album. It's not my favorite by no stretch. I think he does a lot better, especially when you get to Hunky Dory, but definitely nice to find this. All right, now here's one that I really enjoyed. And we have Gary Moore, Corridor of Power. Definitely wanted this one for a bit, because I knew Gary Moore is pretty well respected as a pretty good guitar player. So this was 1982, this came out originally. And yeah, I pretty much enjoyed this album right away. Like there's 9 tracks, and I pretty much enjoyed every song. Don't Take Me for a Loser, Always Gonna Love You, Gonna Break My Heart Again, Falling in Love with You. That's a really good song. Kind of a more ballad type, but you know, I'm a sucker for ballads. End of the World, Cold Hearted, I Can't Wait Till Tomorrow, killer stuff. Again, every song here is great. If you love early 80s hard rock and metal, this is definitely a listen. And even his vocals are actually pretty decent. I'd say he's not the greatest singer in the world, but it serves. And now we have one more CD to go. And that CD is going to be I.O. by Peter Gabriel. And I've seen many variants on this. I have the green version. I've seen people with orange. I think there might be a red variant, if I'm not mistaken. So of course this is Peter's latest album after like 20 years or so. Pretty much since Up. And he's released other stuff, but this is like his first with all new material. So we didn't know what to expect. Of course, earlier this year, I did a reaction video to the first track, Pan Out to Come. Sadly, that video is no longer there because it got copyrighted. I'm not bitter about it. But anyhow, I still think Pan Out to Come is still a great song, though, and it definitely opens the album very well. Then you have The Court, pretty good song, Playing for Time. Probably my favorite song for the title track. Really like Peter's vocals. And that's something pretty good about this album. Peter still sounds really good. His voice seems like it has not aged at all. But yeah, great melody on that track. Let's see, what else? Road to Joy, Olive Tree, Live and Let Live. But yeah, there you go. Definitely a pleasant surprise. So there's two mixes here. So you have the dark and the bright mix. I know some people, I've seen a lot of people say the bright mixes, the dark mix is better, but I actually prefer the bright mix personally. But there you go. Very good. And there you have it. That's every CD I acquired throughout the month of December. You know, I think it was a pretty solid month to go out with. There's definitely a lot of good stuff here. And we'll see if any of these CDs make my top 50 best CD finds and discoveries. It will come out later this week, so hopefully you look forward to that. But other than that, if you have enjoyed this CD haul, please give this a like, subscribe if you are new. In the comments below, let me know any of your thoughts on any of the stuff I've shown. Oh wait, there's one thing I forgot. There's actually two more CDs I didn't show. And one of them's not even out of its packaging. So I'm going to try, hopefully I don't show any of this, but here is, let me see. So let me just do this. We'll do this. So this is the first disc in front, and then the other one is still in the packaging. So I'm not going to say who these are by, because I will say whatever is in this packaging is going to be the subject of a future video, hopefully coming out in January. Definitely going to be a bigger video, a little bit different than what I normally do, but hopefully that will intrigue you. So maybe there'll be more details later, but keep an eye on this package. So other than that, I will see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye for now.